Hi guys, welcome to Digital Tech Join. In this video tutorial, I am going to explain you about what is Cosmo DB provided by Microsoft Azure and also show you demo on how to create an instance of Cosmo DB in Azure. So let's get started. So what is Cosmo DB? So basically Cosmo DB is a globally distributed multi-model database service designed to scale throughput and storage across any number of geographical regions. It offers a guaranteed low latency and high availability, making it suitable for globally distributed application. Now, in this definition, you will notice that the key word is globally and also distributed. So this particular database is created by Microsoft to attain the requirement of managing a database that is globally distributed, spread across multiple regions. Now typically when you look at a relation database, the overheads of managing this database across multiple regions, multiple zones and multiple location is becomes very difficult and cumbersome. To cater to this need, Microsoft developed and introduced Azure Cosmo DB. Now, this is basically a session where I'm going to explain you about the Cosmo DB and also practically walk you through how to create a Cosmo DB instance in Microsoft Azure. This is the first lecture, and in the subsequent lecture, we will also work with how to use Cosmo DB as your backend database and create an ASP.NET MVC application and create a CRUD application that performs entire create, read, and update and delete operations. Further, we will also create a web API and then also connect that with your Cosmo DB hosted on Azure. So the key thing to note over here is it is designed to handle large amount of data across the globe. Okay, and it supports different ways of organizing data. It can organize the data in the form of documents, graphs, key value pair, which we will learn in the further slides. Also, the ability to scale up and down seamlessly and to keep data close to where it's needed makes Azure Cosmo DB ideal for applications that need to be fast and available worldwide. Let's move to the second slide. Now basically, why do we need a Cosmo DB? Now I'd explain these things in my previous slide, first slide, but specifically let me take each and every feature and explain why we need a database like Cosmo DB provided by Microsoft. First of all, as I explained, it is globally distributed. So if you have a scenario where you need your database to be spread across region and you want a quick access and low latency, then obviously this is an ideal choice. Now it is primarily designed with a global distribution in mind, allowing data to be replicated across Azure Global Network Data Center. This ensures user experience low latency wherever they are located. So then that is the key advantage. Second is multi-model capability. Azure Cosmo DB supports multiple data models within a single database service, providing flexibility without the need of multiple data systems. Now what does that mean? That means you can have Cosmo DB configured for working with document storage like JSON or graphs or key value pair or columnar data structure. So that's the various options provided by Cosmo DB. Then obviously it's elastic scalability. So Cosmo DB is built to handle elastic scalability, automatically adjusting the throughput and storage capacity based on the workload requirement. So what is the key benefit of this? Simple. It ensures that applications remain responsive and cost effective under varying level of demands. That is one option. Then high availability and consistency. Obviously Azure database guarantee high availability with multiple replica of data stored across different regions. Okay, so this also provides consistency model to suit different application requirement, ensuring that the data is always accessible and reliable. And finally, integration with Azure ecosystem. Now you can use and connect with various existing Azure function like Azure services such as Azure functions and many other functions that you can connect Azure DB with. Now I spoke about document database. We will focus on this in this section today. So what is a document database? A document database is nothing but it is a database stored in the JSON like document format, and each document has a unique identifier and a flexible schema allowing easy updates and schema evaluation. Just refer this screen over here that I've created a sample document database. This is how it looks. It's very similar, or it is a JSON format. Now, what are the types of APIs that are provided in the Cosmo DB? As I mentioned in my previous point, it supports like multi-model capability. So basically, this is what it is. It's different types of APIs are provided in Cosmo DB. So starting with core, that is similar to relationship database where we can query write our own queries to fetch the data. And we in this section we will practically use how to use core SQL APIs, offers SQL-like queries and compatible with MongoDB. Then MongoDB API supports MongoDB protocol. Then we have Cassandra API, which provides capability with Cassandra, Apache Cassandra, and you can use existing Cassandra skills and application. Then you have Gremlin APIs, which is used for graph based application. And then finally, Table API offers key value store of application that requires schema-less data storage. Now this is the last slide before we proceed to the demo. Now here, very important concept which it impacts the cost on Cosmo DB is throughput, and second is serverless. Now throughput refers to the capacity for data processing and operation per unit of time, whereas serverless refers to flexible consumption based model. So if you are aware, if you know your data flow and you know the capacity and volume data, then the throughput option is a better option to go with. Otherwise, if you are not, if your volume is not predictable, it's unpredictable, and then yeah, typically you are not sure about the volumes and the hits request, then definitely you should go with the serverless based model. Throughput can be provisioned to ensure performance, while serverless provides cost efficiency for varying workloads without manual adjustment. So that was a theoretical section. It was quick, but this one I want to just to make you aware of what exactly is Azure Cosmo DB and what are the key features. Now let's proceed to our Azure portal and create an instance and write certain queries to fetch some data, and let's proceed with the practical session. So I have opened my Azure portal, that is login.microsoftonline.com, and this is my Azure portal. Just in case if I just like to Azure portal, just look Google it, and here you can see Microsoft Azure portal, and you can click on sign in. And once you sign in, this login is already there. Digital Tech Join at the Gmail. So I'm selecting that. I'll enter the password. Click on sign in. So our dashboard is Azure portal dashboard is open. Now there is various ways. So before I proceed, I'll just go to my channel and show you, for anyone who's new to Azure portal and is starting with cloud computing, then there is a playlist in my channel which covers a lot of important tutorials. This year it is Microsoft Azure tutorials, which covers the entire basic essential, how to create an account in Azure, then how to go about and understanding the portals, tricks and tips, how to set up VM, how to deploy ASP.NET application, how to deploy ASP.NET application along with Microsoft SQL database as a backend, and then Azure storage, and uploading files on Azure, working with storage, then understanding the cost management, and top 10 Azure services, setting up an SFTP so that you can share and upload files, then securing your files and build your first Azure SQL database from scratch. So the lot of essential and picked the best videos that I have for Azure. So for students who are new, can definitely watch all these videos and do comments and like these videos. So this is one of the new video which I'll be adding. So now coming back to our topic, so here I'm going to search for Cosmos DB. So here you can see Azure Cosmos DB. I select that. So right now you can see there is no Cosmos DB created. So I'm going to create one. So I'll click on create. And here, as I mentioned, these are the different options provided by Cosmos DB. And I'm going to select with Azure Cosmos DB for NoSQL. We'll click on create. So this is a subscription, and then this is a resource group that's already created. You can, if you don't have, you can create a new one. So basically resource groups helps you to organize your resources, and it tracks your billing in a very organized manner. So it is mandatory, and it is good that you have a valid subscription created, then you have a resource group. Now I'm going to name it. So I'm going to name it as Digital Tech Join Cosmos DB 1234. So this is a name that I created. This availability zone, it's currently disabled and it shows when it's selected. So you can also enable, if you want, you can enable availability zones. Otherwise you can definitely go with the one that's provided over here. So I'm going to select Asia Pacific. Let me just select um, so I can select Geo India West or Geo India Center. So this is what I spoke about: provision, throughput, and serverless. For the demo, I'm selecting provision. There's an option called apply free trial discount, so I'm applying that. Make sure that you apply this and limit the number of amount throughput that can be processed. This you can enable this option. Then we click on next. Global distribution, currently geo redundancy and multi-region rights, I am disabled it, but this is nothing but the one which I explained, globally distribution. So you can, if you enable this, then your data resides on multiple regions, and it is syncs up automatically to ensure that it's available and ensure that you have low latency. uh, so this currently for the demo I've disabled this. Obviously this comes with the cost. Then networking, then this is currently I'm keep this option as it is, all network and TLS 1.2. Next, my backup policy I'm going to select as it is for the demo. Then encryption, I am selecting server service managed key, that is Azure managed key. Then if you want to name any tag, you can do that. So I can just say digital tech giant Cosmos DB first Cosmos DB. Okay, and then I'll click on next, and now it is validating. So there is an error, and this could be related to the region. If I'm not mistaken, Geo Center does not allow. So in this case, just we'll go back and see whether we can. So we'll enable availability zones so that we have much broader scope of selecting the regions. So here I will select Central India instead of Geo. I just select Asia, Central India. Okay, and now let's go ahead and let's see whether the error is gone. Yes, so now we go to validation success, and we'll go ahead and create it. So you can see in the taskbar it is creating it. So deployment is in progress. We'll wait for some time. It takes around 3 to 4 minutes, and then we'll be able to see the resources deployed. So once the resource is deployed, we will go ahead and create a database and then a container ID, and then we will add records to it, and then we'll query it. Okay. We'll see how the query happens. We'll fire certain queries in our database and proceed with the tutorial. So your deployment is complete. You see the resources is deployed successfully. Now we'll click the option over here, go to resource, and you will be able to see that our Cosmos DB is ready. And we can see the name that we had given 1234, and this is basically, these are the option. Now I'll just go to the home page again. I'll just click on this, close the notification, and if I click on Azure Cosmos DB, I should be able to see one database now. See, you can see one. I'll be able to see digital tech join Cosmos DB 123. We'll click on that. So when you click on that, you're able to see this option. Now we'll just click on this option, and we can see that all these options are related to the setup. Here you can see the overview. So if you just scroll up, and okay, so it is prompting us to create a new database. So this is what it's called as a container. So database is called a container over here. So in order to create that, we can also go to setting, or there's an option where container. We can click on browse, and here you can add a collection. Similarly, you can also get this option done by clicking on data explorer. This is the tutorial page that comes by default. You can close, and this is what, welcome to Azure Cosmos DB. So this is a quick launch. This is new container. New container is nothing but the database. Inside the container, it will add container ID. Then we will add some data over there. So we'll see how that can be set up. So we'll click on new container over here, and so the same option is also available on the quick start. Here you can click on, here if you click on create a new container, we'll get the same option. I've clicked on create items container, so this is going to create an item container. Ideally I didn't want that option. I wanted to show you, plus I wanted to tell about these are the different platforms that we have: .NET, Java, Node.js, and Python. So right now, since I've clicked on in Azure Cosmos create items container, it is most likely creating that containers. Let me just go through it and just refresh. Yeah, you can see it has created this, but what I'm going to do is that I'm actually going to go to settings, and inside settings there is this to do that was got created. I'm going to delete this. ID, so this is so let me go and see what is the ID it is created. And click on setting, browse, and this is a container. So I'll just click on the to do dot and click on delete database, and I'll just exactly mention to do list. This should delete the container. So the default container that we created is now not available over here. So what it did is, in the quick start there's an option to add the container. So simply if you click it, it'll create the container and add a default table to it, but we'll not do that. I clicked on it by mistake, so that is why it got created, and then we deleted that. Now assuming that we don't have any containers right now, we just have the Cosmos DB created, that is digital text Cosmos 1234. We will click on container, and then here we are going to click browse and then add a collection. So now when you do that, so the first is database ID. So here I'm going to create a database. Now this is my database, this is the ERP. So this, I name this as ERP, and this is the option share throughput across container. So right now I have one container. Then database throughput, this is an auto scale, so automatically it will scale. This is a maximum RU, that is request units. So there is a calculation over here, how many request units and how much that cost you. So depending upon your usage, depending upon your volume, you need to set that. Then we have a container ID. So basically you need to define a container ID. So for here I'm going to create a container ID called customers. Okay, and my partition key, that is my unique container ID for customer as a container ID is ID. So this is my unique. So I'll just high capital and D. Okay, and then I'm going to click on OK. So this will create a database, and then it will add a container called customer, and then it will give us the option to add records to it. So we will see how that works and how that looks. So this is how you created a first container. So we got the container got created. Now you can see ERP and then customer, and so this is a database. The container is ERP, which is a database for us, and customer is a table, and this is the item. Now let's do one thing. Let's create a new item. So we'll click on the customer, which is a table, and we'll say new customer. Okay, sorry. Click on in the customers. We click on items, and then we'll say new item, or you can simply say yeah, you can say new item over here. And here you can see the moment I click on new item, I'll just zoom in a little bit. So you can see we have a JSON format over here. This is the ID. So we'll have an ID. So I say 1. This is my ID 1, comma, and we can have say name colon, and this is Robert. Then we can have age, customer age. We can have 40. Then we can have country, India, and then we can have email. For now we'll have this much fields, and we can say robert@yahoo.com. So this is how I've created a data set. Now I'm going to save it. The moment I save it, you have say additional parameters that are added by Cosmos DB for uniquely identifying it. So this is my first record. What I'm going to do is I create one more item. I just copy this and I say new item. Now I'm going to paste this. I'm going to remove this user defined created, and this will be 2, and then this will be Richard. This is 32 USA Richard.com. This is, I'm going to copy this and click on. So this is a second record that I've created. This I'll remove this error and this save, and then I'm going to create one more item. Just copy this, and this will be 3, and this will be Alex is 20, and Alex, oh, let me put it Canada. Okay, so this is the third record. So now if you see, I've added 3 records. Now if I click on ERP, then on the customers, and then on items, I could see 3 records over here. You can see 3 IDs over here. Okay, so this is how we are storing. We can also create procedure, user defined, and trigger, similar to the one which we used to create and which I created in MS SQL Server or MySQL. So we'll see how to use all this later on. As of now, we've shown you how to create container, then your table, and then items to it. Now we'll proceed on running some queries. So we'll uh, click on Cosmos DB again, and we click on settings, container settings, and we come back to the screen. Now you can see the 3 records over here. Now what we are going to do is that we will be writing basic queries to fetch records, and for that what you're going to do is that there's a query window over here. We are going to use that and see if we can see open query, and this is new SQL query. So now I'm going to say select all from C, and C represents is the customer, Okay, so I'm just going to execute this query right now and see what is the output is. So you can see once I click on this, you are able to see all the records are displayed over here. Okay, and now we can also use basic query like order by clause or like clause, that I'll show to you how to use that. So now I say order by, so I'm going to say C and order by C dot ID in descending order. So you can see I'll just say execute query, and you should be able to see the first record starting with 3, then 2, and then 1. Similarly, I can also use where condition like we're using in the query. So I'm going to say select all from C where C dot ID goes to 3. So this should fetch me a record of Alex. So 0 record because I just forgot to put in. Yeah, so this should work now. ID is 3. Okay, where C dot ID goes to 2. Let me just check. C dot ID. Okay, C dot ID equals to 3. This should fetch now. Error. Okay, so the where clause is made. Sorry, this is where and execute. So now you can see I was able to successfully fetch Alex record by passing the ID. So this is one. Then also we can use like clause. So we can say where C dot name like percentage sign, and we say RIC percentage. So now it should fetch record of Richard. No, it did not. Let me see where C dot name like, where C dot name like percentage RIC percentage. This should work. Now, very surprising, it's not working. Let me just check what is the okay. Let me just see. Is it not recognizing the like clause? So let me just put. Yeah, so we are able to also use like conditional where we say select all from C where C dot name like RICH, and I was able to fetch the record of Richard. I think so even RIC should work. Yes, even RIC is working. So this is how we have executed certain queries. And if you go to the overview of this database here, you should be able to see the throughput here. See, these are the 1 hour stats over here. So you can see 52 requests that I executed it. So this is how that request unit works. As I mentioned, while you're creating container, there is a logic given over there. There's that you need to read on the request unit, and the request unit is nothing but based on your volumes. You need to understand what is the total 1000, 2000, or 10,000 request units that your application will be consuming. So basis that you can set the request unit, so that your billing can be done accordingly. So you can get an idea over here, okay, on the throughput and the number of requests. This is a last 1 hour request because I'm been using this now. And there's various features over there that you can use, how to enable geo redundancy in your Cosmo DB that you created. So this is how you have created a Azure Cosmos DB. Then you created a container, and then you created tables and also added records to your tables, and then also executed certain queries. In our subsequent next lecture, we're going to see how you can use the same database or create a new database, and connect that in your ASP.NET MVC application and perform the entire CRUD operation. Then we will also proceed with creating a web API that connects to this database for storing and retrieving record. So a lot of things planned on Azure Cosmos DB. So please stay tuned and watch the playlist that I had mentioned at the start of the session. And please do subscribe to my channel. Please do share my channel link with your friends, families, and colleagues. Help me to grow my digital tech join channel. I want more and more developers to come and visit my channel and learn, so that they can understand and acquire the required skill for their job or for doing freelancing. And please do subscribe my channel. Once again, please do subscribe my channel, like all my videos, and please do comment and request me whatever tutorials you need on .NET or cloud computing. I love to create for my users. Thank you very much for your time. Take care.